Could you please tell us something about what you're planning to do?
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Take a seat.
Okay.
Here.
Oh, no, shoot.
Oh, on the there, behind the coffee.
Okay. Would you like to start?
Okay. Yeah, so this is a work which relates to the interaction of light and sound, which are both wave phenomena. Light is it's both a wave and a particle, and sounds are basically wave formations. So that's where the audio and the visual meet. One of the places, speaking in physical terms, that's where they meet. So we wanted to create a work where we would explore the relationship between the sound and the image in terms of movement, because waves are moving, and the reason we chose water is we found that if you think about a film or video or a photograph or painting, what you see is 2 dimensions, and the movement you see in a film is not real movement, because the film image itself never moves. Basically you have 24 still frames a second that you're watching, and in between, and they each last 1/50 of a second, and then you have a black in between. So the idea was to work with movement, and we thought about how can we show movement other than on a typical flat surface, and that's the physical reason we're using water, is that water provides, especially with a black background like this, it basically becomes a mirror. So you have on the surface of the water, you have the 2-dimensional movement. So if you imagine just the still water, just totally still water, and you project onto it an image, you will have this 2-dimensional movement, which actually is not movement at all, it all takes place in your mind. Then on the other hand, if you put the water in motion, which we do with the sound, you will have wave formations. We have a single tone which will generate sound waves on the water, and then suddenly you have 3-dimensional movement, the water itself moving, and then you have on top of the water you have the 2-dimensional movement, and then the water itself is moving in 3 dimensions. So that's where you get an interplay of these 2 different types of movement.
And you are going to produce one sound?
Yes, one sound.
What is that? What kind of sound?
It's a very low frequency sine wave, a very pure wave, basically like that, which should generate wave formations from the speakers.
Run to the whole room.
Yeah, going across the whole room. We have 2 speakers on either side of the room, and so what we'll get is we'll get the waves from one meeting the waves from the other, so you'll get interference patterns from the 2 speakers. Now we also have 2 projectors, and they're crossing each other. So you have 2 circles being formed by the speakers, which form interference patterns, and then you have 2 speakers like this with crossed lines. So one line is going like this and line is going like that. So you basically get circular and vertical horizontal grids. And that's basically how it's going to look.
And what are you projecting?
We're projecting raw film, or basically film without any specific image. The image will be created basically during the process of the work, because the projector, it's a film loop. Yeah, we didn't mention that we have the whole work is thought of in loops, time loops. We have the sound is generated by a loop. It's always the same sound, and it always comes at the same time. The projectors also have loops, film loops, and they're of different lengths. So basically you have these three rhythmic components. The sound always comes at a certain moment, boom, 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 and then the tape loop the two tape loops are also functioning in rhythms.
They're different?
They're different, yeah. So you'll always have a different, there'll be always an evolution of, because they're offset, the two loops, because they're different lengths. Each circle will be different.
So you're never actually seeing the same image.
The same two images.
You just see it there and then it's gone. See it
They're
again.
falling together.
They're falling together.
They fall together on the water itself.
But if you think of frame 300 on one of the loops and frame 1000 on the other loop, these will only fall together every, I don't know, 100,000 times the loop goes through. Only once in a very long time. And the loops, if the film loops as they're going through, will become increasingly scratched. So to begin with, they're just black and white, pure black, pure white. And as these loops roll through the projector, the white and the black will become scratched. Now, because it's a physical movement, it's the emotion on the film will be stripped away because as it goes through the projector, there's friction, so it's like
It was a pen on it, and it's scratching.
No. The projector itself will scratch.
It's always happening.
Yeah, it happens always. Yeah.
Always. That's why films are after.
It is possible to manipulate the scratch with some instrument, as you said.
Yeah, we prefer to just have the projectors themselves. So
the white film, there's no black thing to scratch. Do you also see the scratches?
you see the scratches, yeah. You see it because on the white film you'll get black scratches.
On the black also.
You get white. You'll also get black, but you won't see them. And you'll also get white scratches on the white, but they're not as visible. So basically, as the loop goes through several thousand times, it's a fairly short loop. You'll have, going from pure black and pure white, you'll get all these in-between tones. And basically the white and the black will be increasingly the same, because both are getting scratched all the time. And this has basically two things to do with, conceptually, with what we're doing. The first is...
the black will become white.
The black will gradually become white, and the white will gradually become black. It will take a long time.
Yeah. Do you know how long it takes?
It depends on the projector.
But you didn't find out.
We don't know with these projectors yet. We've tested them on a different loop, and it will take a long time.
But will it be
possible
to see it
one
evening?
Yeah, you'll see it. Yeah, you'll see it. Definitely some changes.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you see this total process of black turning into white and white turning into black. Then we have to manipulate the loop. We have to do something to it actually with some instruments to quicken this process.
But
the definite changes, of course.
It all depends on the projectors, and as the loop goes through more often, the process will speed up because there'll be small particles taken off the film, which will be lodged in the gate of the projector, which will increase the erosion.
Turning
Ah,
Yeah. And yeah, so that relates basically to our idea of what is an image. And the image in this case, at the beginning you have no image, you just have pure black and pure white. And if we think in terms of black and white film photography, if you have a pure black image, it's not an image. If you have a pure white image, it's not an image. Any image is somewhere in between these two. It always has to have a mixture of black and white, or either in terms of graphic or in terms of gray tones. And so basically we're going from these absolute states of total black, total white, into intermediary stages, and that's where you start getting images. And but also it's the loop is we're taking away, basically, because we're always scratching away the emotion, we're taking away part of the material of the loop, so the loop is disintegrating. And if you think about it, this is this is all the question of time. Material things, gradually everything material is going to disintegrate at some point or another. So it's possible to look at the whole process as a kind of a symbol for what time does to things. And that also works with the audio, because the audio is also a piece of tape, and as that goes through the tape recorder, it's also going to disintegrate. Now what will happen is, as the tape disintegrates, it's going to, the clear sound that you have at the beginning is going to get dirtier and dirtier. And
is that so?
Yeah.
That's always happening also.
Yeah, it's, if you have a tape that one of your favorite tapes, and you play it in a bad tape recorder, after you played it a few 20, 30 times, it's
well, after hundreds.
Well, it depends on that. Again, it's
like
a projector. Yeah, it depends on how dirty the sound head is and what sort of tape you're using.
So we can say the better, the worse that the projector is, the better for us.
Yeah, you have to make it very dirty inside.
Well, no, no, the projector itself won't be. It's a short loop. It goes through, every.
It's just a 1 minute loop, so it's going very fast, through the tapes.
But do you want the public to understand that process of vanishing of material and of sound and image?
Well, it's always a question of the how would I say, the public, to relate to the public. I think both I and Magnus we want to be able to communicate with general public in our works, but always you have to. I think what people will be able to understand is that there are rhythms. That's the basic thing. There are rhythms in the sound. That's the most obvious one. And there are rhythms. They'll be able to see that. They'll be able to. After a while, they'll know that there are two film loops going. They'll be able to notice the fact that it's always the same piece of film in each projector. So I think that people will easily be drawn into the rhythmic nature of the work. Visually and acoustically, I think also that people will start seeing the scratches, for example, especially the scratches. And if people go away for 10 minutes or 15 minutes and come back, they'll see that it's changed. And because the loops are offset, they're not the same, you can watch the work for a long time, because you'll always be seeing new frames coming together.
But why? Oh yeah, I understand why you did the water, because you want the movement.
It's the best element to use, actually.
Does it also project on the roof?
That's what we hope would happen. I mean, it should happen, because we're not using any other light. The only light in the room is from the projectors, and we have this white ceiling, should be able to receive an image of the waves going through the medium. I don't know for sure because I would have to simply put the water and see it.
I think it's pretty certain.
It is. Well, yeah.
Especially when you have a black image hitting a white image.
Exactly.
Because then because when two white images come together, especially in the earlier stages of the work, when you have two white images come together, it's going to bleed out. It's going to be very white. But when you have a black image hitting a white image, or two scratched black images, then definitely you'll be able to notice the patterns on the wall. We're also thinking when we decided to use the Fabriek was we've had this kind of like concave mirror ceiling in mind. So you can either look at the water level where you have this black mirror, or you can look at the ceiling where you have basically a white mirror. So the two things again fit in with this black and white concept of the film. You have the black bottom and you have the white top. So you have two mirrors.
You wanted, spoke to me about time-based video registration.
Yeah. Well, the idea I had with I would actually like to during the process to make I don't know, 30 minutes, 20 minutes videotape of the performance or the installation. Yeah. But I think that I don't have any time, so it's something that has to be done manually. I don't know, every 4 minutes we take 2 minutes or something like that. Then you get the 2 hours into it.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting to have an interval.
To have the thing to look at it then on the monitor for 20 minutes and you see this thing happening a little bit faster. It'd be quite interesting.
And what is the every 5 minutes?
Then you take, if you take, I haven't calculated it out, but during those 2 hours, if you take a couple of minutes and then rest for, I don't know, 10 minutes or 7 minutes, and then you take again a couple of minutes, then in the end you would have a maybe 20 or 30 minute tape of the whole thing, you know, from beginning to the end. And I think it would be very interesting to have that as a video project, to be able to see it in the monitor.
Well, it would be more actually, because you would get the interval would the interval that you have in would also be written.
Yeah.
So that would be another dimension.
That's another.
Yeah, we can do that if we have a stopwatch.
Yeah. Well,
That's a good idea, because it's not possible to film the whole evening. We don't have enough. But we can do every 5 minutes.
We have to calculate it out, so we can
you
do this, you know.
10.
But I think, I mean, as Tari said, that's another thing. That's absolutely we didn't think about this actually when we were beginning to do this project. But then, in the evolution of the work, we realized that this is totally a possibility and equally as interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to have it. So.
Yeah, it's possible.
Wat is hier het voor?
No.
Welke zijn het?
Kookje proef?
No.
What does Brin mean?
It actually means it's a very strong. It's in Iceland because we're an island. Country's an island. You have many words, different words for the sea, and the different types of waves falling on the sea, falling on from the sea to the coast. And Brim is the strongest type of surf. It's when waves crash onto the coast. And usually you have the sea crashes and you have the water going all over the place, but you also have very deep sound.
Roar.
A roar, yeah. A very low frequency roar.
Oh.
A roar is really
roaring.
a deep, you know, high sound.
It's basic.
And the thing, it can be so energetic when this happens, that the whole earth trembles underneath your feet while it's happening. And the spread of this brim can, I don't know, it can reach 20, 30 meters into the shore.
But is the whole island shaking then, or only near
No,
the sea?
just near the sea. That'd be funny, go crash there, go to school.
That'd be great, actually.
Does it happen often?
Oh yeah, it's quite big.
Especially during winter. And, mostly, well, it can happen near Reykjavik in the south.
Because of the sand shores.
Yeah, it's pretty open, so that the waves can become very large coming into the bay.
Region of the country.
And is that a picture of something to do with that?
Slightly. So you still have to explain.
Well, basically, this is because this is the first time that we've put up this installation, really, we've done tests, but it's the first time that we do the installation. We don't have any still photographs from the actual work. We'll have that tomorrow. So we generated an image that would approximate what you'll be seeing. So basically that you're seeing there are wave formations, very graphic wave formations, light bouncing off waves.
Computer?
No, it's made
Film.
It's made for film.
But it's in a negative way. We couldn't print it the way we wanted it actually, which is
It's on the bottom here.
it's like this.
That was not possible?
No, they couldn't. The copy thing
Took too much toner.
couldn't take it.
They said that to do the posters, the 80 posters, the machines would be empty of toner.
It's a bad copy shop.
Yeah. But it doesn't really matter because
It's okay. It's
we're also, because we're working in this black and white, we're working with positive and negative basically. So doesn't really affect the concept anyway.
And you live in Holland, or you come from Iceland now?
Well, I'm living in Iceland at the moment.
So how did you come here?
I took a plane. We just flew here for the Fabriek invited us to put up the installation.
So you don't know Holland?
well, I know Holland quite well. I think I've used to live in Maastricht for 2 years.
Jan van Eyck?
In the Alphenite. And well, I live in Sweden actually, and came from Sweden.
Oh.
Well, at the moment I'm living in Sweden. I moved there and that is it.
Do you work more often together? Or?
Yes, this working process has now reached what, 6, 7 years?
7 years. Yeah. When we're in the same continent, I was in Canada. My studies in Canada. But
the problem is to be in the same country on the same time. So
What study do you do then?
I studied film, so that's what I've been doing for the last 4 years.
To make films yourself?
Yes. Before that, I was a photographer for about 8 years or something like that.
And always 16 mm films?
Well, I haven't been able to afford 35, but it's
but they're art films or?
yes, experimental, avant-garde films.
And you don't have anything on video?
Of my work?
Yeah, here?
Yes, I
Cut
have.
them off, you cut that.
Yeah, I have my latest film,
Yeah, on VHS.
VHS. Yeah.
Oh.
It's quite interesting actually. I've only seen it once, but let's see it again. So, what I saw was quite interesting film. I've only seen this film that he made once, so
Yeah.
I would like to see it again.
Yeah, I can watch
How
it.
long is it?
It's 7 minutes.
Oh,
Would you like to show
yeah.
it?
Would you like to show it?
Yeah,
So
we can-
cultivate
Do you have time yet? Now.
No,
It's a question maybe of watching it tomorrow night after the installation. if
It's
that's
also
okay.
possible.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to show it to Jaap and Suzanne.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can put down.
Yeah, we
In
can get
the
the monitor
ceiling.
and just put it down into a coffee shop.
Well, the monitor is going to be up anyway because this.
Yeah.
No, it's Saturday, so.
Well, we just take it.
Yeah, well, we thought it's better to not show film in the coffee shop anymore because no one's watching there. Everybody's talking and talking.
Yeah.
And
So we
don't listen.
no, the
Mm.
sound
You
is
can
no
hear the
good.
sound
So we thought it's better to show it in the hall or somewhere
down in the
else.
ceiling.
Yeah, we
or
can do
further.
that too. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's, it's actually it's a related work, the Naturmort. It's related in the sense that it also deals with rhythms. And, so yeah, be
The
interesting.
film shots are rhythmic.
Well, it's basically an idea that me and Magnus have been working on is the question of what is it in an image that stimulates or not grabs the attention, but is the stimulating factor, and especially in film, it's a question of the rhythm of the images. So you have rhythms in the shots themselves, and then you have rhythms in the images themselves. And that's what the film is about.
You did more risky things like this? I mean, this is, well,
Well, I've done a
quite
couple of
big.
risky things in my life.
Tell us about it.
Yeah.
This is all I do. No, I think well, it's risky, but we take every precaution to make it this minutes this danger of anything happens should happen. And it should work.
Well, there's always risks in life. Living is a risk.
Art is dangerous, of course.
Not so especially.
Or should be dangerous.
Yeah, well, you could make it less dangerous if you put a lot of money on top of it.
Put a lot of
To make the floor water resistant.
yeah, but that costs.
Because the risk you take now has nothing to do with your work.
No.
No.
It's a question of money. It's just that we can't afford to minimize the risk of course, it would have been better to have a perfectly waterproof.
Some rubber or something, but then can it also be very easy to put a lot more water into it, to go up to 10 centimeters or something like that, and then project the sound on that. We get slower and more heavier waves. Yes, that could be really interesting to look at.
How long does it take before the whole surface is 3 centimeters underwater?
Well, we have been calculating about 6 to 8 hours. That should take that, something like that.
So tomorrow during the day you start?
Oh, it's 7 o'clock we start.
Tomorrow.
6:30. Because we can't put any pressure on the water. It has to be well delicately put into the room. We have to move it up.
Misschien kunnen we morgen nog een film doen.
Ja,
Ja.
we can do that.
Ja, als eenmaal de vloer bedekt is, dan maakt het niet meer zoveel uit hoeveel erin is.
Nee, maar gewoon.
The problem is going to be running until, I don't know, 1 o'clock or something. So So if you come during that process, you probably get instant shots.
At 1 o'clock.
Well, I don't know when it's finished, but we start about 7. I think it takes until 2 o'clock or something. 3 o'clock.
Ja, ik kan morgenochtend doen.
So,
Ik ook niet.
Weekend.
that's it.
But later on we can.
Ja, anders komen we gewoon in de middag en dan zien we wel wat we
Ja,
eten.
we kunnen ook hier die camera hier laten. En ik ga maar, we moeten hem meenemen.
Ja.
Dan zouden ze het zelf kunnen doen. Dus ik kan de kwestie van aanzetten.
En dat kunnen we ook doen dat we die opnames dan niet bekijken. Nou. If you want
To
to
record
do
it
it
yourself.
yourself, it's possible.
To record the
Yeah,
Yeah.
you- it's a very simple camera.
maybe Jaap should Simon do it. Because we'll be busy with keeping an eye on. Oh, you mean the water?
Yeah.
Or the interval?
The
No,
water.
no,
The
the
water.
water.
Tomorrow
Tomorrow
morning.
That's no problem at all.
When you
No,
start.
No, if you leave it and
Yeah.
with the tripod, then
You can
it's no
take a
problem.
few.
Few shots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty fine.
It's just a normal thing. This camera.
Yeah,
it's very easy.
Zet hem nou uit en dan.
swing jij.
En zeker aan de andere kant. En deze kant niet zo.
Nou, tussenin hè.
Oh, dat is wel goed dat er een lampje was.
Mag je op dat lampje gaan staan?
Ja!
Yvonne! Kijk eens staan.
Ik zie geen nu in beeld. Kan niet. De deur zit ervoor.
Als het water niet beweegt, de vloer in ieder geval wel.
Ja.
Beweegt het water dan? Nee?
Ja, maar dat is...
Mij treft geen plaat. Behalve de box beweegt er weinig. Daar rommelt het water een beetje. Maar dat is natuurlijk van het... Hey.
Ik heb hem in de gaten. Die kan ook van de wind zijn.
Heb je die microfoon nou al? Oh, het zit erop. Hoor je ons nou goed? Dat beweegt niet.
Zijn er briefjes rondgegaan voor die mensen hier in de buurt, want die bestellen of zo?
Ik zou het niet weten.
Die denken dat er een boot langs komt.
Doei!
Dan moet je zo laag over de water zitten.
Gaat deze boot nou helemaal door naar IJsland?
Het water beweegt.
Nou moeten ze maar steeds van een box afspringen.
Zo misschien lager gaan.
Has not to be done. En als een speaker echt flink een basuitslag geeft, dan verplaatst hij lucht. Maar dit is geen luchtverplaatsing. Wij hebben echt gezien dat er niks gebeurde. Helemaal
En
niks.
als die boxen laag zijn, ook?
Nee, je moet gewoon een enorme luchtverplaatsing doen. En dat zijn hele grote basspeakers die zo flink op en neer gaan. En daar heb je nog, hoeft nog ineens geen geluid uit te komen.
En dan moeten ze misschien dat ding aanzetten.
En dat hebben ze toen gezegd. Hij dacht dat er gewoon met speakertjes wel ging. Je moet echt een...
Geluid.
Dat is wel heel mooi. Ze draaien een film af, hè? Yvonne, doe je een film af of hoe...
Ja, dan.
Ja.
Hoi, hallo. Hoi. Het begint om 8:30, dus ik wil er allemaal zo mee beginnen.
Nu dus?
Nu dus. Kan dat filmpje beneden aan? Van die jongen?
Nou al?
Ja, er zitten al mensen.
Ja, dat kan.
Het is al 10 minuten. Misschien kun je beter.
Ik kijk elke keer waar lichtjes zijn. Ja.
Maar ik vind het achter zo mooi ook. Oké, dan zit waar nou precies het raam zit en de deur.
Ja.
Zou je daar gewoon nu naar buiten kunnen lopen? Via zo'n deur?
Nou, nee.
Nee, want het spiegelt, hè? En toch...
Ja, daar ergens in het midden.
Ja, dat herinner ik me ook wel van vroeger, waren er ramen, hè? Maar nu is het
Wie doet er nou dat licht allemaal?
Nee, jammer Yvonne dat er geen zwarte tape gebruikt is.
Ja, stom hè?
Jammer.
Is dat wel dus. Zeg maar, het kan zijn dat die geluiden van die andere films zijn, maar die vind ik toch mooi hierbij.
Ja.
Ik vind het toch heel, alsof het over deze ruimte gaat, het geluid zo, toch een beetje. Niet helemaal gecoördineerd, maar toch...
Maar ik vind het echt jammer dat ze die tape hebben.
Ja, storend hè? Ja.
Maar het is wel een prachtig gezicht.
Ja, het is prachtig. Hè. Ja, het is schitterend. Oh, nou begrijp ik het. Het water dient alleen maar om die plafond te spiegelen, hè? En de lijnen en zo.
Je kan nu van hier zien.
Wil je eerst tenminste echt doen?
Te dimmen, want de kinderen trillen weer uit.
Is dat
echoing accords and planes
Well, we
with the
can't.
film.
Yeah, the film is going okay, but we can't turn the volume.
No, it's too loud for the neighbors.
Yeah.
But when it was so loud, the water wasn't moving.
But it was not as loud as we wanted.
What?
It was not as loud as we wanted to put
At
it.
first?
No,
At first.
we wanted to test it a little bit. Then we wanted to put it on to a bit louder. As loud as the loudspeakers can take. But it really takes a lot of noise to make this work. Monique, kom hier.